everybody, have you all checked onto the nice list this year? Because I don't know if I have. So welcome in everybody. If you are new here, my name is Heather Spears and today we have something so fun and festive planned. So what I am doing is I am showing you guys a walkthrough of my DIY Grinch outfit. So I made a Grinch themed outfit and I'm just going to show you guys the steps that I took to make it and then show you guys how I styled it and put it all together. So if you're excited, please give me a thumbs up so that I know, and without further ado, let's get started. So getting started, what we are going to do is I am going to make this a lot easier and I am not going to be using my mannequin at all. So we could just ignore her. What I'm going to be doing is I'm using two items that I already have in my closet to use these as patterns and draft up my own unique design from them. So I'm going to be using this jumpsuit for a pattern for the jumpsuit that I'm going to be making for my look, and then this cute jacket here just to kind of get the right general shapes for the look that I'm going to be making based off of the Grinch. So let's get started on the jumpsuit first because it's the easier of the two. In the first step, I'm using a fabric that I don't care much about and making a pattern. So I lay out my jumpsuit on the fabric and simply trace around it with a pin. I do this for both the top and the bottom of the jumpsuit. In total, I end up having a front and a back piece for the top, 4 pieces for the pants, and then 2 pieces each for cuffs around my ankles. And this is what I'm left with. Next, I lay out the real fabric that I want for my jumpsuit. I lay out all of my pattern pieces, pin them in place, and cut them out of the right fabric. After that, I sew all the pieces together following my pattern. This leaves me with a pair of pants and a top that's separate. So next I take my top piece and put the pants inside of it, pinning it together at the waist. Next I sew those pieces together and we have a complete jumpsuit. The last step for the jumpsuit is so simple, all I do is fold over and finish the edges. Okay, so now that the jumpsuit is all the way done, I am going to start up on the jacket. Now, I'm going to warn you guys, I'm going to be doing some stuff with this jacket that I'm probably technically not supposed to be doing, but I'm going to walk you guys along every step of the way so you can kind of see what I'm doing and why. And the reason why I'm doing it this way is because this is going to be a challenging piece. So it's going to be a little bit more challenging than the last piece, but definitely not too challenging that people can't really follow along and do it for themselves. It's just, you'll see what I mean. There's just some tweaks and things that make the jacket piece a lot more difficult than the jumpsuit piece. But let's just get into it and you can see what I mean. First things first, it's the same process as the jumpsuit. Lining up my existing jacket and tracing and labeling the right shapes for the look and then cutting them out. Next, I cut out my pattern pieces on my fabric. I do this for both an outside fabric and some white fabric that I'm going to be using for the liner of my jacket. But before we sew all the pieces together where they belong, I have another few steps to take. First, I want the collar and the cuffs of the completed look to be different. I want them to be out of a fuzzy white fabric, just like a mock Santa Claus coat. So I use a different fabric for those pattern pieces. Next, I decided I wanted the word naughty cut out of my jacket with the green fabric from my jumpsuit showing through. After all, this is a Grinch-inspired look and I don't think he's always been on the nice list. To do this, I designed a unique logo on Adobe Illustrator on my computer and uploaded my design onto my Cricut CreateSpace program. This way I can cut out the pieces on my Cricut machine. If you've been here from my other videos, you know I use this method often. I would be lying if I said getting this fabric cut out by the machine was easy. It took a lot of tries and just a lot of tinkering, and it ended up actually not working despite how it looks. So what I did was, since the fabric was too stretchy to cut in this manner, I decided to have my machine draw on the fabric instead of cut it out, which got the logo to look just about right. And then I hand cut out the logo. Since it's meant to look a little messy at the end, the lettering didn't really need to be perfect. I intended to have the letters look kind of stretched and imperfect to match, the particular style a little better. So this was more than okay for this particular design. After successfully getting the naughty cut out and ready, I layered it over the top of the green fabric from my jumpsuit. And then I sewed around the letters with a large zigzag stitch. You'll notice that I used tissue paper to help me sew over the false leather of the jacket because the fabric tends to get stuck in the machine, and it doesn't sew correctly. The tissue paper helps the fabric glide exactly how it needs to, and I use this tactic for making the entire jacket when needed. So after sewing around all the letters and pulling the tissue paper off, I laid it out on the floor next to my other pieces and cut out a space for this naughty logo. The inside liner didn't need space to be cut out because the proportions will remain the same. All I did was simply cut out the pieces where the naughty should go in the completed design. And the next steps are sewing the pieces where they belong, including a new cutout naughty section of the look. I do this for both the outside of the jacket and the inside liner. Before I place the liner inside the jacket, I make a patch using a scrap fabric, and my Cricut machine to cut out the word list from my original logo. I cut it out on metallic gold iron-on vinyl to apply it to the patch. After that, I use some thick thread to hand sew the patch right under the naughty logo to complete the naughty list design. Finally, I input the liner into the jacket by facing right sides together and leaving enough room to turn the piece inside out when I'm finished. The last step is simply adding the collar and cuff pieces where they belong, and with that, we are finished. The jacket's done and I am in love with this. It's so cool. It's so like novelty, but like totally not. Anyway, now that the jacket is done, it's time to really get into the spirit of how the Grinch stole fashion here and do my makeup and hair to match, and then I'm gonna take you guys on kind of a little photo shoot extravaganza that I did in the full outfit. So I'm excited to bring you guys along, and let's do it! Next, I did a very dark makeup in black and green, and I added some ultra sparkly red lips. And then I did my hair by slicking it back on one side and teasing it up on the other. But the shoot wouldn't be complete without a smashable prop present, so I wrapped up an empty box. And by using some in need of repair Christmas decor items from around my house, I decorated or, well, destroyed the floor. So now it's time to show you guys how the whole thing came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of fun with this one. Okay you guys, and that is it for this video. I hope you saw something here that sparked some cool inspiration for your next big DIY project. So, if you saw anything here that you like, please remember to give me a thumbs up so that I know. And if you would like to come along and join me on some of my next projects, hit that subscribe button and you are always welcome to join me. Until next time, friends, bye!